Hail, listeners! You are attending the Transreal News, the mightiest source of news, travel advisories, and forecasts for travelers through the astral planes, outer noosphere, and time itself. I am Torg Skullcrusher, your host. And now, the news in brief. I personally wish to hail the mighty game designers at Caffeine Zombie, who narrowly avoided dueling intelligence agencies in Bruges last night. Your skillful maneuvering of that minivan is the stuff Hollywood wishes it could place upon its screens. I understand the drone footage taken by local hobbyists have gone truly viral. I also wish to hail one Mr. McChuck, who, at a recent streaming event involving the manly devouring of increasingly fiery hot wings and telling of bold truths, became a fiery elemental bodhisattva after consuming a third helping of the eruptor. The shores of Ecuador have been terrorized by gigantic, rune-carved lobster-monsters. Currently, theorists believe that these creatures are the degenerate descendants of the Homerind Empire. The Empire evolved, enjoyed 3,000 years of sapient culture, and then left for the stars, all inside a time bubble during last month's superstorm. It appears the wretches they chose to leave behind have become true terrors of the deeps. In Australia, Retrograde Dynamics has fielded a small army of supermen, taken from that new superhuman program of theirs. While none of them match the fearsome fighting might or sheer kawaii glory of Sabaku no Ken Otome, they have so far acquitted themselves well in holding back the green tide. Now hearken to the wisdom of Walter Haver Squirrel as he uses his mighty computer to do in an instant what takes the shamans of my people hours of deep trance to achieve.
Thank you, Torg. And hail, listeners. Thanks to the competing effects of the indigo child migration and the irreality siphoning effects of the Ossiflora hive mind, they have become the only 2 points of irreality across the entire globe. A band cutting across the United States from Lake Michigan to the edge of Nevada, following Route 66, along with some feeding branches, roughly following the interstate highways that connect to it, comes with a high queel and a general vibe of mystery and the fantastical. Expect all manners of weirdness if you drive any major route that follows the interstate network. Otherwise, a concentrated, perpetual time-space superstorm now sits over the Uluru National Park in Australia, causing constant, rapid evolution of the mutant plants in the area. Outside this area, irreality is not exceeding 0.5 queel. Even the time bubble under Point Nemo caused by the last superstorm has evaporated, although I would expect that the Homerind ruins are not safe to visit right now. Back to you, Torg.
Beware, listeners, for now we shill for one of our corporate sponsors. From the makers of Atomic Salsa and the Eruptor comes a flavor sensation like no other. California Primal Salad Dressing. Made with ingredients harvested from the primordial swamps of Northern California. And killer tomatoes harvested from the streets of the post-apocalyptic Santa Clara Valley. This barbarian recipe from our murky future past makes your salad an adventure through time and space. California Primal Salad Dressing. Eat like a warrior. And now the first installment of our newest segment, A Journal from Beyond with Toby Dampt and Clee Maxwell.
This is Toby Dampt. I'm sending this recording to Transreal News from beyond the planar cordon in Xibalba. The great city of Mitnal is all but deserted. We've taken up residence in the bombed-out hulk of a ruined office building that just 3 months ago had been set up as a refugee camp for beings from the upper planes. It, and most like it, are abandoned. Hellion and divine alike have mostly scattered to the wilderness. Only pockets of souls and lesser elementals are still hiding within the city. The Archons here have gone feral. They stalk the streets at night, blasting anything that moves. Many of them seem confused. There are gates set up to travel to the home planes of the authorities, but they are heavily guarded. Not even Archons are permitted through the cordon. But we believe that we may be able to get through to see what is really going on in the home planes of the authorities. In the meantime, some edifices are so thoroughly banal, dark, or evil that here in the lower planes they cannot be assailed. We have been bribing our way into useful information with gift cards for a popular coffee shop that is found on every corner of most of the lower possibilities as well as Earth.
Any place that requires you to learn special lingo in order to get a coffee is pure evil, lovelies.
In many places you can see signs that the authorities attempted a reconfiguration. The landscape here is more warped than when I last visited.
Toby, we're going to have to cut the report a little short. More of those half-reconfigured hellborgs are wandering nearby. And we have to get to El Rubacava by tomorrow night if we want to get our hands on the transport we need.
Right. This is Toby Damped from Mitna, Xibalba. Safe journeys, travelers.
You have been listening to Transreal News, an independent news source for astral projectors, ethereal jaunters, and eaters of the lotus. Hail, listeners, and may your course be lined with lesser foes.
The Transreal News was created, directed, written, and performed by Brian C. Rideout, and produced by Stormhead Productions, and is released under a Creative Commons by Attribution, Non-Commercial 4.0 license. This episode of Transreal News included music and sound effects from Pixabay. For show notes or contact information, visit trans-real.stormheadproductions.ca or visit me on Twitter @transrealpod. I love hearing from my audience. If you have comments, questions, or an idea for a news article, please by all means drop me a voicemail. Check out my homepage and look for the heading Tell Me What You Think in the sidebar. Then just hit record to tell me what's on your mind. Thank you so much for listening.